everyone, how's it going? In today's video, I'm going to be doing something that I'm not super thrilled about, and that is I'm going to be getting rid of my 2011 Specialized Secteur. Now, I really like this bike in a lot of regards. I think it's really good at doing what it was intended to do. It is a touring/endurance bike that came with a very nice frame and very entry-level drivetrain components. So yeah, in the video today, I'm going to just be removing a couple parts that I want to keep from the bike, and that is my carbon seat post that I added onto it. And then I'm going to take off the 28mm tires and replace them with 25s. One of them is one that was on the bike originally, and then one of them is from the felt. I want to keep my 28s. I don't want to keep these aftermarket pedals that I threw on there. And I want to keep my phone mount too. But other than that, yeah, I'm just pretty much going to leave the bike the way it is. So yeah, let's just talk about the bike for a little bit while I wash it and take the parts that I want and replace the parts that need to be replaced. I'm pretty satisfied with the bike. I put 1,100 miles on it over the course of 4 months. I bought it last July and I stopped riding it in October. Is kind of when I switched to like riding the chubby bike. This bike has done me some really good things. I rode this bike for my Century and for my 75-mile ride last year. Like I said, I put 1,100 miles on it in 4 months, so I obviously rode it quite a bit. I did a bit of my commuting on it after I got tired of riding 18 miles on my single speed each way. Yeah, it does its job really well. It's supposed to be a very comfortable frame, and from the perspective of road vibrations and things like that, the Zert inserts that it comes with function really well. They're essentially like metal wires, I think, that absorb, vibrations and things like that in the road. Yeah, that works really well. But for me personally, I don't find the bike comfortable, and I don't find it very inspiring as far as like performance wise. Like, I don't think it feels like you're going very fast on that bike, and that's because you're very in the bike. It's very stable. It's got a long wheelbase, which is great for touring. It's great for long rides. But particularly why I don't find it comfortable, and this is something that's probably more applicable to me than it would be to most people, is because of my anatomy, I guess. I'm 6 feet tall, and I have an inseam of 30 inches on my jeans. Now, a lot of people that I know who also have inseams of 30 inches are shorter than me. I've kind of gathered that I have a lot more of an upper body length than most people. Like, I'm majority upper body, whereas I feel like most people are either closer to a 50-50 split or they have more leg than upper body. On top of that, most of my friends who are taller than me either have the same arm length as me or shorter arm lengths than me. And because of that, I find it super easy to do things like putting my fist on my toes, standing up, like stretching my fist to my toes. I had a bit of a weight loss journey with cycling, and even prior to the weight loss journey, when I still had a gut, when I wasn't exercising regularly and didn't have the flexibility that I have now, I could still pretty easily put my fist on my toes. And I know a lot of people who are fitter than me, or maybe not necessarily now, but were fitter than me at the time, that couldn't touch their toes with their fingers. And so I think that all kind of drives home the point for me that most handlebars on most bikes my size are too close to me. Now, I've thought about riding a size up from the size that I choose to ride, which is 56. I ride 56. I've thought about riding 58. The reason I don't is because I feel like my seat is usually too low in that case, which is fine, but I just really like the handling characteristics of a 56 with the seat height that I usually choose to go at, which I feel like is a pretty like normal seat height for most road cyclists. I get the shorter wheelbase and I get the slightly lighter frame. If the reach is still too close for me on a bike, I'd probably opt towards getting a longer stem and slamming the stem, which I did both of those. I didn't do a longer stem with this bike, but I slammed the stem on it. But I just felt like no matter what I did, this bike was going to be a little too upright for me because of all those things. Honestly, I find that my track bike, which I don't think most people would say this, is more comfortable than this bike. And that one has a lot more of a dramatic reach. You're in a lot more of an aggressive position. You're definitely on the track bike rather than in it. Whereas with the Specialized here, you're definitely in it rather than on it. For me personally, I just don't think I'm a big fan of endurance geometry. And I think if I was going to ride an endurance bike, I'd make a point to maybe size up. With my gravel bike, I'm kind of wondering if I should have done that, but I kind of have some ideas to make the build the way I want it to be. But yeah, I think it's all just a matter of finding what really works for you. I think that this bike is a great endurance bike. I think if you find that your handlebars are too far away, that your lower back is getting tired on longer rides, that this would be a bike for you. It's just in my case that I find myself doing like this kind of weird like bowing position, you know, with my back to reach the handlebars, if you will, if this illustration makes sense. That isn't really particularly comfortable for me. And I find more often than not that like my handlebars could just be further away than they are. I picked up a road bike frame set that has a more aggressive geometry. It actually has a pretty like identical almost geometry to my track bike minus the fork. And I think I'm going to go with a fork that has more rake on it than my track bike does, because I do want it to be a little bit more suited for endurance riding. But also I think a second wheel set for the gravel build I'm doing would also function very well as an endurance frame set. And I would have used this bike as an endurance frame set all day. Like I would have made a gravel bike out of this bike all day, but the rear is only clear 28s and I want to do like 42s and actual gravel stuff. So it just didn't seem like a logical choice for that bike build. So yeah, as much as I hate to see this bike go, I think it has served me well, and I'm excited for someone else to also be served well by the bike. It's held up really well from a reliability standpoint. Everything on it, you know, is tight. The bottom bracket's good. Even though I put a bunch of miles on it, the brake pads have been wearing really smoothly and like not very much for how much I rode it. So yeah, that's the story with Specialized. Now that I've done everything to it that I wanted to do, I'm going to put it up for sale on the old Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and we'll see how long it takes to get rid of it. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like, please hit subscribe, drop a comment if you want, and I will see you in the next video. I'm going to be doing a review of the Budget Chubby bike here pretty soon, and then we'll get back to work on the felt. So yeah, till next time.